So what made you decide to go on a healthy journey and start losing weight and stuff like that?
Well, I wanna live for one,
Okay.
we are our best product, right? So if, like, I'm my product, how can I, sell that to people if my product is faulty, right? Or like, "Hey, you can be this, but this is going to, like, lead down to a path to where you die." So how can I put that example out there if I'm not taking care of myself, right? And I have kids too, like, my daughter's 10, my son is 7. I don't wanna die, pass out from an asthma attack running around with them, so, um, I wanna die an old man. I don't wanna die tomorrow, and, was it in 2021, I had a health scare, I was working hard, eating, drinking stuff that I shouldn't be consuming, and, I had type 2 diabetes at the time, and I remember one day I had about 3 energy drinks. Not a good idea.
In one day.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and, my heart almost exploded, I
What does that feel like?
I woke up in a cold sweat, and I couldn't relax. I was shaking. And my buddy, my roommate, Dilemma, shout out, that's my brother. Told me, hey man, can you call the paramedics? I think I'm dying right now. And I remember he called them, and they came, said, oh, you're just said I was overreacting or something like that, or like, no, you're just nervous about whatever. Are you going through stuff in life? Like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't feel well. I can feel my blood pressure going crazy. I can't sit still. And as they took off, they left. And I remember, like I tried to fall back asleep. I woke up again, and it's like, no, no, this is bad. Like, I'm like, things are blurry. I don't know what's happening. And I called the paramedics again. He sat there with me, and he like did a guided meditation with me to kind of calm me as much as he could. And they came, and
What does that look like? Sorry, the guided meditation.
I don't know, just visualizing like a place of peace. Said, let's pay attention to the sounds. He's like talking like there's like wind coming through, and I'm remembering most of it verbatim because a
Mhm.
lot of it is
Mhm.
just kind of a snapshot,
Mhm.
And well, whatever he did, it kept me calm and kept my blood pressure and my heart rate down enough. So when the paramedics got there, I remember I instantly collapsed onto the bed, and they put something in my arm. I forgot what it was, but I remember like looking up to the the paramedic. I'm like, hey, am I gonna die? And he's like, I remember to this day, like he was Captain America. He's like, not on my watch, buddy. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. And if you're ever about to die and you go into the hospital, make sure that you are wearing the most, flattering thing possible. So always, just always, be comfortable. But I had like these Marvel
Yeah.
superhero
Gotcha.
pajamas on.
Gotcha. So basically, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
if you're about to die, make sure if your clothes aren't comfortable, change.
yeah. Like, oh, I'm not doing well. I should put on a shirt that's fresh.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause you may be in the hospital for a few days,
Okay.
with the prettiest nurses you've ever seen in your life, So I remember like my priority was like told somebody to grab my tablet so I didn't finish so I didn't miss like the like season finale of like WandaVision or something, right?
Mhm.
Like I can't miss bring my tablet and charger. Priorities, right?
Mhm.
And
So you're in your Marvel pants, you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
and I remember getting to the hospital, they're telling me that my heart rate was like 4 or 5 times what it should have been. My blood sugar was like 500 or probably even more than that. And, yeah, I was this close to, like, dying, And I remember while I was in the hospital, for some reason I sat up and, like, I meditated, right? Just like they call it, like, the dark night of the soul or something like that? When you have those, epiphanies, right? And I remember just getting up and meditating 'cause my levels had come down. I was clear-headed, and I sat up and I meditated, and I believe I met my guardian angel at that point. I remember the doorway, walking through the doorway, and I saw, like, this hooded figure, but they didn't have a face or anything or but I could tell it was a human figure with, like, a cloak over it, and it talked to me, like, in my voice. Now I'm thinking maybe because 'cause I'm the only person I listen to or whatever it may be, but I remember it's my voice. It said, "Hey, you gotta stop whatever you're doing. when this happened, I saved you. When this happened, I saved you. It was specific moments in my life I clearly remember. That was on me. I was like, I'm not gonna save you anymore. Now love yourself so you can love them better. And then I woke up, and like I'll never forget that. Like I don't know if it was a spiritual experience or it was psychological or whatever it may be, but that happened. You know, it's just that moment. Like I've been trying to take better care of myself. You know.
Oh man, boy, that's beautiful. In my opinion, Diesel, Daniel, I think, and I think you can agree. I think it was a spiritual moment, right? Because it's for me, I believe spirituality and the spiritual moments and experiences are beyond our senses and beyond our understanding.
Mhm.
And like you said, you when after that experience, like you're like, this is real. Like you can't like
Yeah.
this is real.
Yeah.
Even though I came back to what we call reality, what this realm is called reality, and what I believe those interactions are, they're warnings
Mhm.
and they're guidings at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty um, of free will that we have as human beings. It's like, hey, here it is. It's your choice whether to follow it or not. And obviously, you decided to follow that guide. Did you decide to follow it more so because you're a father now and you wanted to be there for your kids? Or did you follow it more so like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should listen to this because I do want to continue on.
A little of both. You know, column A, column B.
Column A, column B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we tend to get comfortable. We're creatures of habit for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just as society, as humans, and we get caught up in our day to day routines, you know. And so sometimes those day to day routines may not be the most beneficial to you or the most positive and healthy for you,
Yes, sir.
you know. So sometimes you may need like I call them hand to God moments, where someone comes in like, "Hey, no, my son, no," or like you may say to a friend like, "Hey, bro, you're messing up. Like, what are you doing?"
Facts.
You know. And so that's what it is, you know. And uh, as far as it being like spiritual, like I know, I mean, there's people that don't believe in that. There's people that do. I like to look at the term supernatural, like as like break down the word, right? Supernatural, like this is an everyday thing. This is, or it may be very normal, just like rain is supernatural, right? It doesn't happen every single day, but like when it does, we have rain coming from the sky falling down on us. That's a supernatural thing, right? So when we have experiences like that, it may not be our day to day rhetoric, but it happens, and maybe happens when it's needed. Like rain is a result. That experience I had may have been a result of things going on in my life that led to that caused that intervention to happen. You know.
Yeah. And I also like to, two things. Um, I would say if you're going to call rain supernatural, I would call that experience more of a phenomenon
There we go.
because of the rarity of it happening
Yeah.
in occurrence. And I'm also starting to believe that when human beings, us as human beings, are closer to our self expiring, we're more open and exposed to what I'm going to call the spiritual realm,
Yeah.
right? Because we're closer to it, so now we're more open to receiving its messages. Remember, I was talking about ESP earlier and
Mhm.
about us being blocked from messages being
Yeah.
controlled to our level. So, um, I not to go against what you were saying about that, but I kind of it's kind of how I view it is just like these messages coming in, and now you're listening. And again, I think the best thing about it was that we have the freedom to choose: do I want to follow this thing
Mhm.
or not?
Yeah.
Right? I'm glad you followed it,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I guess and continuing to follow it.
Yeah. I try my best. You know,
Yeah,
we're human, but
of
yeah.
course. And I'm assuming you probably haven't had an experience like that since.
No, no. Thankfully, knock on wood.
I mean,
We'll have it.
the experience of that shadowy figure
Yeah.
coming to you. You haven't experienced
Yeah.
that. You think it was a bad thing when it came to you?
No, I mean,
Okay.
like, I don't want to like get to a near death
Well, I'm
experience
saying
again.
not to like
You know,
just the figure to come just to show up again.
yeah, like 'cause that's like I said, that's a result. That's a boiling point. You know, so I hope I don't get to that point. I hope it's for better things. Like, hey, my man, choose this right. If you here's some information for you,
Got
do it
you.
what you want. but this could lead to great things that you can help people with. Like
Gotcha.
I would welcome experiences like that. You know, not where I'm in a hospital bed about to die. You know.
Got you. And I was just referring to the shadowy figure. Like, let's say you were chilling right here, right now, and it showed up in your vision, type of thing, right? Not like you have to go through that terrible experience. But I guess you're looking for that insider information, like, hey, D's
Yeah.
my boy, put 500
Mhm.
on Tesla. We going to the moon.
Mhm.
That's what we're looking for.
And go ahead and get the party going.
There we go. Right, boom. We gonna get this place turned up.
Yeah.